How do you win a war? Well, the most obvious way is to annihilate the enemy. That's not the most efficient way, however. What's much more important is being able to either win them over or to persuade them not to fight. Particularly if you're talking counterinsurgency. So I was very interested in this, Powers of Persuasion. For 2 to 4 players, taking 15 to 45 minutes. It's Project Wire. So this is something I was given at the Conference of Wargamers, and I was very interested in it because as a gamer, I don't think we understand professional gaming. Professional gaming and hobby gaming are two very different things. So what we've got, let's separate them out first. There we go, that'll do. So what we've got is how to set up the game. Okay, we've got a little basically credit card talking through where all the pictures come from. So we've got a quick introduction. So what does it say? In Powers of Persuasion, you'll be attempting to create influence effects to achieve a given goal. And it talks about 3 aspects: your line of persuasion, which are the green cards, the orange cards, which are messenger, and the purple cards, which are the means of delivery. So it's not exactly going to be a hard game, this. We've got how to play, which is very straightforward, and how to score. So the scoring cards, what we need to do with those is just give them a little shuffle, and that goes out the way. Now what we have are the different scenarios. We've got 6 different scenarios. So let's have a look. We'll pick one at random for this. So we've got heavy fighting has led to a stalemate with significant coalition and insurgent casualties. And there's a nice little bit of background text there about the Tet Offensive, using that as an example. That's quite a good example. So what we get, okay, you basically get 2 actions. You can pick up an operations card and put it in your hand, and it can either be the one on the top of the discard pile or the one at the top of the deck. Or you can play an intervention where you place your cards down. Now I'm just looking for how many cards you get to start off with. 5 cards per player. So, and we get 1 card there. So example card there is it's an orange card, which is the messenger. So coalition ground maneuver assets. Force elements that can deliver kinetic or non-kinetic effects. Okay, and the numbers don't signify anything scoring wise or anything like that. We'll explain how they work in a minute. So what have we got? What cards have I got? Well, I've got Lines of Persuasion, highlighting the potential for collateral damage, destructive coercion. Okay, we've then got civilian or allied intermediaries, or coalition senior military or political leadership, and we've got targeted mass physical messaging. So it's heavy fighting as a stalemate, significant casualties. I think that messenger card, the coalition ground maneuver assets, is a good one, so I'm going to pick that one up, and I'm going to get rid of the civilian allied intermediaries, and that would be my turn done. Everybody else would then have their go, and it would come back to you then. Now once you've actually played your options, and you ideally want 1 of each, but you can go with less if you want. The other players then, I'm just checking how many turns they get. It runs out to the last card. Okay, doesn't say it on that bit, must have gone past it. 2 turns, so they have 2 turns from the time that the first person plays it down. So let's have a look. So we've got alleviate adversarial suffering, and again we've got talking about the far C. I think we'll get rid of the collateral damage. I don't think the enemy are going to be too worried about collateral damage. So again, we go around another turn. Now I think I'm going to take a punt at this. So we're going to use the alleviate adversarial suffering, use our ground maneuver assets, and we're going to go for targeted mass physical messaging. Probably not the ideal one for this. So do you remember the scorecards? We now get the scorecard. And you can see we've got the numbers 1 to 18, which match these. Some of them are more common and you get multiple ones. And then we get A to F for our scenario. So scenario C then, okay, so we use C. Option 5, that would score me 2 points. 9 scores me another 1. Okay, I thought that wasn't an ideal one, but it's given me some score. So that's worth a total of 3 so far, and 13 scores me another 1. So I've scored 4 points with that. The other players would then compare, and we'd see who's got the highest score. Now when you look at the scorecard, okay, some of them are quite effective. Some of them are absolute disasters when you use them. Some can score top and bottom scores depending on your scenario. So let's use an example. What were the other 2 cards we had? We had Lines of Persuasion, Destructive Coercion. That would have scored me 1 point. So it wasn't as good as Alleviating the Suffering. Interesting. And we had Using a Senior Military or Political Leadership. What would that have done? So seriously, that would have been worth -3. So that would have been a truly negative thing to have done. Out of curiosity, the ones we didn't use here, the Lines of Persuasion, using the highlighting the potential for collateral damage, that would have actually scored me -3. I did say that wasn't effective. And using Civilian or Allied Intermediaries would have scored me -3. So it's a simple game. Where this benefits is not scoring, it's the discussion. So let's have a look and think, why did we think some of these worked particularly well? So let's have a look. Okay, alleviate the adversary suffering. Why did that work better than destructive coercion? Well, there's been heavy fighting already. They've already taken heavy losses. That did have some effect, but actually realizing that they've actually had this suffering, that gives me an option to try and work them around. Yeah, using senior military or political leadership, okay, I think is probably not going to work because it's a sign of weakness. Whereas actually having the forces on the ground, you will listen. That was why that was effective. And the targeted or the mass physical messaging, we were bypassing the leadership. So it's given me that sort of insight. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please click on the like button below so that I know what people like and I know what to make more of. Alternatively, if you've enjoyed it and think you'd like to see more, please click on the subscribe button. That way you get notified by YouTube whenever I bring out a new video. And you never know, there might be something in there that you hadn't considered, because I do cover a variety of things on the channel. And finally, if you have a little bit of cash going, I now have a Patreon account. I'm always looking for patrons, because at the end of the day, let's be perfectly honest, it's a good way for me to get a little bit of money that I'll use to buy review items or to travel to museums and so on. I don't put a huge amount on that. At the minute, all we've got is one tier charging £1 a month, which just, as I say, helps cover my costs. See you soon.